As the large expedition team, meant to restore the balance on the island, was on their way, a smaller team went ahead of times to locate and document the dinosaurs for intel purposes. With the dinosaurs heading deeper into the island, it was sometimes difficult to pinpoint each species, and a large amount found shelter in the swamp area of the island. The swamp was not too far off from the coast and held its own unique ecosystem with specific flora and fauna types. The area in and of itself came with some advantages to the dinosaurs, both big and little. The first thing was that the area had plenty of water to drink and cool off during a hot day in the sun. Because of all the water, the plant life was rich and robust, offering plants found nowhere else that some particular dinosaurs were very fond of. But a more important reason why so many herbivores chose this area as their nesting ground was the absence of large-type predators. The muddy waters made it difficult for them to chase their prey, and the thick vegetation surrounding the water worked as the perfect escape route for the herbivores. There were even some of the long-necked dinosaurs, though they were rarer in number. They often preferred the plains, as the vegetation and water in the swamp obscured their vision of what was happening directly around them. The safety and thriving dinosaur population resulted in some really rare and never before seen dinosaurs to be documented here. Aerial photos showcase just how thickly populated it was with these magnificent creatures in all shapes and sizes. It was a sight to behold. But all these dinosaurs living so close on top of each other did bring its own share of problems. Fights for territories and nesting grounds did occur amongst the seemingly peaceful herbivores as well. Battles were often long and dragged out, but nevertheless still as fierce as were it with a predator. These battles for territory often ended with one of the herbivores dying of its wounds. Sometimes, all these dinosaurs did feel like one unit, or one herd, despite containing so many different types like the Triceratops or Styracosaurus. Amongst these horned dinosaurs, it was documented that there was one species never before seen in the island which was present at the swamp area. It was the Sinoceratops, an incredible creature due to its bolstering size and enormous horn at the front. It was beautiful, and reporters for several magazines seeing footage from aerial photographs of these creatures reinstated the importance of leaving these creatures there on the island after the Indominus had been dealt with. It was another showcase of how life found a way of its own on the island. By now, part of the expedition team had set up camp with giant walls surrounding it for protection. This time, there were more security, science personnel, but also news reporters to keep everyone informed of the expedition. They had ranger teams scout the island to find which areas were safe and to map out the routes to all specific areas surrounding the home base. Part of the ranger team found its way toward the swamp area. Though their vehicle was not meant to traverse water, it was shallow enough to where they could maneuver through it and still get close enough to the dinosaurs. Some of the ranger teams had photographers with them to get good shots for experts to study back at the base. But unfortunately, some of the rangers got a bit overzealous and got too close to the dinosaurs, spooking them with severe consequences for the ranger team. Nevertheless, the overall mood of the dinosaurs was calm. The great mixture of species gave perfect chances for scientists to study dinosaur behavior more and how they interacted with each other. Because of the dense number of creatures, dinosaurs, which usually depended on a bigger number of their own type, showed signs of less dependency, as there were friendly-minded herbivores around every corner. But was this biome truly a sign of complete safety for all animals alike? Was there nothing to fear for anyone, since the larger predators, like the T-Rex and Spinosaurus, did not come here? No. Even here, death was still lurking in the bushes. But it came in the form of smaller predators as well. The Velociraptor could maneuver fast through the water and stalk their prey. Their smaller size sometimes even gave them an opportunity to move through a herd unnoticed, as it was packed with cluttered up dinosaurs. Overall, the raptors were only a real threat to the smaller creatures, though you had occasions where one of the raptors got too cocky and found itself in a standoff with a big adversary. Often this ended up with the raptor turning away, as it knew it could not win. But then at the same time, it was documented that it could take down some of the bigger herbivores who did not possess a direct way of defending themselves, like the Triceratops or Stegosaurus. But most of the bigger dinosaurs did not seem to care for the small carnivores. They were the problems of the smaller herbivores, who had the advantage of easily being able to hide in the bushes and vegetation. But even though apex predators did not roam here, it did not mean it was completely safe either. A particular carnivore, the Carnotaurus, was smaller and more agile than your average T-Rex and could maneuver through the swamp area with ease. It used the vegetation as cover when sneaking up close to its prey. The Carnotaur had up until then not been documented in the park that got previously destroyed. Either scientists had already worked on the Carnotaur genome, or some other explanation had to be found. Besides the swamp area with its herbivores being a source of food, it was also a rich source of drinking water, as much as it was for the plant eaters. But since the Carnotaur was not as powerful as some of its bigger brothers and sisters, it was not uncommon for it to lose a fight against some of the herbivores which could defend themselves well. But despite the dangers, it paled in comparison to some of the other areas where the Indominus or other more giant predators roamed and gave an overall relaxing and pleasant atmosphere. Life really settled in more than other areas, and people knew that this would be a popular spot among scientists for research purposes. Who knows what secrets and discoveries could be made by studying the animals' patterns and behaviors. But one should also not forget the true reason the humans went back to the island. It was to stop the Indominus from killing too many animals and disturbing the ecosystem. To counter this, one of Konoa's scientists had previously informed him that a new hybrid would be brought to the island. The night before, on an island a few miles from the one where the park was built, the hybrid was showcased to officials and army generals for the first time. The new hybrid was known as the Indoraptor. It was a hybrid between a Velociraptor and the Indominus Rex, the one that was used in the gladiator fight back in the park. The dark of night reduced the Indoraptor to nothing more than a silhouette, but people were amazed by the ferocity of this new creature. Soon, it would be unleashed and face its nemesis, the Indominus Rex.